Hope that you're doing well. Your day started quite nicely and it continues in that vein. For those of you celebrating birthdays, anniversary, whatever, hope you enjoy it. May you live to see many more. Like I said, I'll be your host for today. And today I'm going to delve into something that is happening on Mother Africa in relation to a young revolutionary leader in Burkina Faso. His name is Ibrahim Traoré. And what I want you to do is to listen to the clips that I play. Listen with an open mind, because I know a lot has been bandied about, how he is a military leader, how he has aligned with so on and so forth, Russia and China, and put that aside for a while. Listen to the clips, and upon hearing them, tell me if you do not feel this young man is doing things that are relevant to advancing his country and setting good examples. So first I'm going to play for you a clip that deals with the fact that when he took over the reins in his country, as opposed to making sure that he got an exorbitant salary, he made the decision that he would stay with the salary that he was getting as a soldier. That's one of the first commendable moves that he made. He said, look, my country needs to be changed. My country needs to go on a positive trajectory. And I'm going to first start by not giving myself an exorbitant salary. The one who was in before, the one who he overthrew, had given himself and his cabinet and others a very, very big increase in their salary. But young Ibrahim Traoré decided no, and he decided to remain with his soldier's salary. So I want you to listen to this clip, the first that I will be playing.
Common to witness an African president leading a modest lifestyle, particularly when Burkina Faso's 35-year-old president Ibrahim Traoré is boldly defying the long-standing notion among African leaders that one must be wealthy to command respect from their people and the global community. It's extremely uncommon to witness an African president leading a modest lifestyle, particularly when their country is grappling with economic challenges. Many African leaders own luxurious cars, reside in opulent mansions, wear expensive custom-made suits, and even travel in lavish private jets, seemingly unconcerned about the plight of their people. In stark contrast to these extravagant lifestyles, Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso, chooses not to prioritize luxury. Instead, his focus lies in placing the needs of his people first, even going so far as to reduce his own salary. Ibrahim Traoré draws frequent comparisons to Thomas Sankara, primarily due to his modest lifestyle and unyielding dedication to his people. Much like Sankara, Traoré prefers to drive a simple car and eschews the opulence of expensive suits in favor of military attire. This was evident during the Russia-Africa summit, where Traoré stood out among his African counterparts by donning military combat clothing, complete with a distinctive red beret and tactical gloves. Moreover, Traoré's refusal to accept a president's salary and his steadfast commitment to maintaining a salary as a military captain serve as a poignant testament to his unwavering commitment to serving his country. This and many more will be covered in today's video. Prepare to be amazed by the impact of this young visionary leader on the transformation of Burkina Faso. Before we proceed, we kindly ask that you consider showing your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. Ibrahim Traoré made history in September 2022 by becoming the world's youngest head of state. He assumed power after he and a group of junior military officers staged a coup to oust Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Damiba, who had taken office in a coup earlier in the year. Traoré justified their actions by stating in a televised address on October 1, 2022, that Damiba had failed to effectively address the ongoing issue of insurgency. Damiba was displaced by Traoré, who, despite being 7 years his junior and occupying a lower position in the military hierarchy, held the rank of capitaine, denoting a captain in the French military structure. Burkina Faso, as a former French colony, adopted the military command hierarchy from France, where ranks above capitaine include commandant, lieutenant colonel, and colonel. Although Traoré's rapid ascent may have been perceived as meteoric by many, within military circles, it was anticipated. Following service in junior roles within Burkina Faso's military, Traoré's career trajectory notably advanced in 2014 with his deployment to Mali as part of the United Nations peacekeeping mission, MINUSMA. Testimonies from fellow soldiers within Burkina Faso's military have previously underscored Traoré's valor during his deployment to Mali, particularly in overcoming a daunting, complex attack by militant extremists in the northern Timbuktu region at the age of 26. In addition to his service in Mali, Traoré played a prominent role in combating insurgency in Burkina Faso between 2019 and 2022, culminating in his promotion to the rank of captain in 2020. Following the successful overthrow of Damiba's administration in September 2022, Traoré, aged 34 at the time, acknowledged the potential scrutiny surrounding his relatively young age in relation to his eligibility for the presidency. Addressing government officials in October 2022, he stated, "I understand that my age sets me apart from most of you present. The events that transpired were not of our choosing, but rather a necessity." Subsequently, Traoré's international prominence waned until July 2023, when he participated in the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg, alongside 16 other African heads of state, convened by President Vladimir Putin. As I told you earlier, while his counterparts donned their customary opulent suits, Traoré made a distinct impression by appearing in military combat attire, complete with a red beret and tactical gloves. The dress code earned him the attention, but his speech during the Russia-Africa Summit, held between July 27th and 28th, earned him plaudits. The issue lies in witnessing African heads of state who fail to provide for their people in need, echoing the rhetoric of the imperialists who label us as militia. Consequently, they inadvertently portray us as individuals who do not uphold human rights, stated Traoré. We, as leaders of African nations, must refrain from behaving like puppets manipulated by external forces. We must prioritize our sovereignty and act in the best interest of our people, Traoré added. Traoré strongly criticized African presidents who appear content to accept handouts. He specifically addressed President Vladimir Putin's announcement on July 27th, in which he pledged to send free grain to Africa. Traoré expressed gratitude for the gesture, but used it as an opportunity to convey a message to African heads of state. He emphasized the need for African leaders to prioritize achieving self-sufficiency in food production and supply for their people. Traoré urged them to learn from the successes of other nations in achieving this goal. He stressed that at the next forum, African leaders should not attend without having taken concrete steps to ensure the food security and self-sufficiency of their nations. Traoré's statements drew comparisons to those articulated in the early 1980s by the esteemed Thomas Sankara, who, like Traoré, assumed the presidency of Burkina Faso through a coup. Leaving aside Ibrahim Traoré's early life, let us now shift our focus to Traoré's achievements. It is an indisputable reality that Ibrahim Traoré is amassing a substantial degree of trust and backing within Burkina Faso and across the African continent in comparison to other African leaders. Just a few days prior, a multitude of citizens engaged in demonstrations, advocating for an extension of Ibrahim Traore's transitional tenure, which was originally slated to conclude in July. Subsequently, a recent charter has been ratified, permitting Burkina Faso's military leader to prolong their authority for an additional 5 years. Subsequent to the endorsement of the new charter subsequent to national deliberations on Saturday, May 25th. The deliberations convened in the capital city of Ouagadougou encompassed representatives from civil society, security forces, and transitional legislators, albeit the limited involvement of political parties in the process. Even after the signing of the new charter, many citizens were left unsettled. While decision-makers debated inside the conference hall about extending the transition, a group of impassioned youth gathered outside, fervently advocating for Captain Traoré to lead Burkina Faso for the next 10 years. This fervent display of confidence in Traoré's leadership underscores the deep-seated divisions and complexities in the public sentiment regarding the nation's future trajectory. Ibrahim Traoré has been recognized for his practical approach to political ideology. He has addressed a significant economic challenge in Burkina Faso by pointing out the absence of a domestic gold refinery. Despite the country's status as a major global gold supplier, miners were forced to export raw ore to European countries for refining. In response to this issue, Traoré has taken proactive steps to initiate the construction of a gold refinery within Burkina Faso. This strategic decision is anticipated to yield numerous job opportunities and contribute to the overall economic prosperity of the country. President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso has spearheaded a series of impactful economic measures, including the implementation of substantial tax reductions and collaborative efforts with the private sector to facilitate access to capital for young entrepreneurs. Notably, Traoré has introduced the innovative concept of popular shareholding, aimed at privatizing government assets and ventures to enable public investment in the nation's development. This initiative saw 20% of the government-owned telecommunications company offered for public purchase, resulting in a highly successful venture that generated $60 million in revenue for critical projects. President Traoré has also demonstrated his commitment to fiscal responsibility by reducing the salaries of all government ministers and officials by 20%. Furthermore, he has declined a presidential salary, choosing instead to maintain his earnings at the level of a military captain, thus exemplifying his selfless dedication to serving his country. Ibrahim astounded journalists by asserting his commitment to defending his people's right to protest, even in the face of criticism of his own actions, emphasizing his role as a servant of the people. His unwavering declarations regarding the trust placed in him and his colleagues to protect the nation's future are a welcome departure from the prevailing attitudes among leaders in many African countries, where leaders often consider themselves as sovereigns and their citizens as subjects. In the current state of Burkina Faso's leadership, Captain Ibrahim Traoré serves as the president, shouldering significant responsibilities during a critical period for the nation. Despite his prominent position, he has maintained a remarkable level of discretion regarding his personal life, keeping it largely private from the public eye. While Captain Ibrahim Traoré's professional endeavors and actions as a leader are well documented, there is currently no widely known or publicized information about his family or any romantic relationships. This low profile on personal matters has allowed him to concentrate on the task at hand and navigate the challenges of leadership with determination and focus. As the leader of Burkina Faso during this transitional phase, Captain Ibrahim Traoré's primary focus is likely on steering the country towards stability and progress and addressing the pressing issues faced by the nation. As of the current date, information regarding the net worth of Captain Ibrahim Traoré remains undisclosed. In light of his position as the transition president of Burkina Faso, specifics pertaining to his financial matters are maintained as private within the public domain. In regard to today's video, we would appreciate it if you could subscribe, like, and share it. Additionally,
Yeah, so there you had the first clip. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to play for you a second clip. Later on in the program, I'm going to open the lines and you can share your views, your opinion and what you think about this young man. When I come back, I'm going to play for you a clip that deals with one of the revolutionary moves, a shocking move that he made in relation to the prisoners, all the individuals who were imprisoned in Burkina Faso.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
Buster! We run things, things are on we. Buster! Buster! Living color, do it differently. Buster! Buster! Lads and in charge, like for the party. Buster! Buster! We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
7 flavors, best taste. Buster, bolder, better, better. Pick your color.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
Buster, live in full color.
Buster!
What has you so happy? My home internet just got upgraded and I didn't even have to pay for it. What? Which network you have? Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 300 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
You're in tune to Win FM 98.9. The time is 28 minutes moving away from the 10 o'clock hour. Before that bit of a break, I played for you the first clip, and I told you when I return, I'm going to play for you a shocking but yet revolutionary move that this young leader, Ibrahim Traoré, has made. And we're going to hear more what he is doing in relation to making sure that his country is self-sufficient and not dependent on external aid. Okay? So I'm going to play for you now the second clip.
Ibrahim Traoré is not just a pro-African leader, a president, and a soldier. He is a strategist, a visionary, and above all, a disruptor of the old colonial order. He has pulled off a move so bold that it has left the French president holding his breath, his eyes fixed on Traoré in disbelief. That's because Traoré understands that true sovereignty begins with self-sufficiency, not just in natural resources, but, more critically, in food security. And in Burkina Faso, where dependence on foreign imports has long been a weapon of control, he is making sure that food sovereignty is the first battle won. This is to ensure that no matter what Ibrahim Traoré does, the so-called punishment given by the West to force Ibrahim Traoré's hand becomes harmless. However, Burkina Faso is a food importer, with food products accounting for 11.37% of the total imports. With this hard reality, Ibrahim Traoré knew the West could blackmail Burkina Faso. So he launched a new plan that has created shockwaves. He ordered to use prisoners to farm vast lands in Burkina Faso, which were earlier not cultivated. But what more does Ibrahim Traoré want to achieve from this, besides food security? In this video, let's know about the whole story of transforming Burkina Faso using prisoners. Despite getting independence, African nations have been locked in a cycle where food security is dictated by foreign aid, dependency on imported grains, and the whims of international financial institutions. This system was never designed for Africa's benefit. It was engineered to keep African nations reliant on Western agricultural exports, stripping them of the ability to sustain themselves. But in Burkina Faso, President Ibrahim Traoré is remaking this system. He wants to ensure that Burkina Faso feeds itself, without Western interference, without foreign aid, and without the economic shackles of food imports. And to achieve this, he has turned to an untapped workforce: prisoners. This isn't just about increasing food production. It's about dismantling an unjust system that has kept African nations economically enslaved for generations. This was done through the exploitative and neo-colonial system of dependency. This system ensured that African countries did not control their own food supply, including Burkina Faso. The country has fertile land, hardworking farmers, and a long history of agricultural self-reliance, but global economic forces have systematically stripped away its ability to sustain itself. The food insecurity crisis that Burkina Faso faces today is not a result of natural limitations, but of deliberate economic strategies imposed by powerful Western nations. These strategies have ensured that African nations remain dependent on imported food, unable to develop their agricultural sectors to their full potential. One of the most damaging policies that led to this dependency is the mass dumping of cheap, subsidized Western food into African markets. The US and Europe have long used agricultural subsidies to artificially lower the cost of their grains, rice, and other staple foods. This means that when their surplus crops flood African markets, they are priced significantly lower than locally grown produce. Burkina Faso's small-scale farmers, who do not receive these subsidies and must bear the full cost of production, simply cannot compete. As a result, local agricultural production declines because it becomes more expensive to grow food than to import it. Therefore, the destruction of Burkina Faso's domestic agricultural economy was not an accident. It was part of a larger global economic manipulation designed to keep Africa reliant on foreign imports. Beyond the economic impact, this strategy has had deep social consequences. When local farmers are pushed out of business, food production decreases, and rural employment collapses. Entire communities that once thrived on agriculture are forced to abandon farming as a livelihood, migrating to urban centers where job opportunities are scarce. This has contributed to rising unemployment and poverty, reinforcing the cycle of dependency. At the same time, Burkina Faso became increasingly vulnerable to fluctuations in global food prices. Because so much of its food supply came from external sources, any crisis could send food prices skyrocketing, making it impossible for ordinary citizens to afford basic staples. However, the consequences of food dependency do not stop at market control. The West has weaponized food aid as a tool for economic and political influence. Many African nations, including Burkina Faso, have been conditioned to believe that food security comes from international aid, rather than national self-sufficiency. But this aid has always come with strings attached. Western institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank have tied food assistance to harsh economic policies, forcing African governments to adopt trade agreements that benefit foreign corporations over local industries. These policies often include the removal of subsidies for local farmers, the privatization of agricultural resources, and increased taxation on domestic food production. The result was that Burkina Faso's ability to produce its own food was weakened even further, and its reliance on Western-controlled food imports grew even stronger. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. Even more disturbingly, food aid has been used as a form of political leverage. When a country refuses to comply with Western interests, whether in trade, foreign policy, or governance, its access to crucial food supplies can be cut off or restricted. This has created a situation where Burkina Faso, a nation with the capacity to feed itself, has been held hostage by foreign economic policies that dictate what it eats and how much it must pay for food. However, Ibrahim Traoré is changing this. For him, the fight for food security is not just about increasing agricultural output, it is about reclaiming Burkina Faso's independence from the global economic system that has kept it dependent for so long. His vision goes beyond simply growing more crops. He sees agriculture as a tool for national liberation, a way to break free from the economic chains that have held the country hostage for decades. And in a move that has shocked the world, he has chosen prisoners to lead this agricultural revolution. But why prisoners? The answer is simple. Burkina Faso's prison system, like those in much of the world, has historically been a place of punishment, not rehabilitation. Inmates are locked away, often for minor offenses, and left with no opportunities to reform or contribute to society. When they are released, they find themselves unable to secure employment, rejected by their communities, and trapped in the same economic conditions that led them to crime in the first place. This cycle leads to high rates of reoffense, where former inmates return to prison because they have no means of survival. Traoré saw an opportunity where others saw a problem. Why waste human potential behind prison walls when these men and women could be part of rebuilding the nation? Therefore, instead of treating prisoners as societal burdens, he is turning them into agricultural workers, producers, and contributors to Burkina Faso's food economy. Under his leadership, prisons are being transformed into agricultural training centers. Inmates are no longer confined to cells. They are working the land, learning modern farming techniques, and growing food that directly contributes to the nation's food reserves. The logic behind this initiative is simple but powerful. If the country needs food, and there are thousands of able-bodied individuals sitting idle in prison, why not put them to work for the benefit of the nation? But this is not a system of forced labor, like those seen in Western prison industries, where inmates produce goods for private corporations under abusive conditions. Instead, Burkina Faso's model is one of empowerment and rehabilitation. Prisoners are given valuable agricultural skills, which will allow them to reintegrate into society as productive workers once they have served their sentences. They will leave prison not as outcasts, but as skilled agriculturalists who can support themselves and their communities. Moreover, this program is helping to dismantle the stigma surrounding former prisoners. Instead of being seen as criminals, they are being recognized as people who have contributed to the nation's growth. Families are more willing to accept returning inmates when they see that they have been part of a meaningful, productive initiative. Employers are more likely to hire ex-convicts who have received certified training in farming and agricultural management. In short, this program is not just producing food, it is transforming lives. By integrating prison labor into Burkina Faso's agricultural system, Traoré is addressing two national crises at once. First, he is tackling food insecurity by increasing local production, reducing reliance on imports, and ensuring that Burkina Faso can feed itself without Western aid. Second, he is reforming the justice system, creating a model that prioritizes rehabilitation and national development over mere punishment. This initiative is a direct challenge to the global economic order that has kept African nations in a state of dependency. It sends a clear message. Burkina Faso will no longer be a pawn in the West's economic game. It will no longer rely on food imports that come with political strings attached. It will no longer accept the idea that sovereignty is an illusion. However, things don't stop there. While utilizing prison labor to boost food production is a major step, Traoré understands that manpower alone is not enough to achieve true food sovereignty. The next phase of his plan is mechanization, ensuring that Burkina Faso's agricultural sector is not just expanding, but modernizing. For years, African agriculture has remained largely manual, relying on traditional methods that limit productivity. But Traoré's administration is pushing for a technological transformation in farming, ensuring that Burkina Faso not only feeds itself, but becomes a net exporter of food. To achieve this, the government has begun investing in large-scale irrigation systems, modern tractors, and mechanized harvesting equipment. This is the shift from survival to dominance. Burkina Faso is no longer just trying to meet its own needs. It is positioning itself as a regional agricultural power. If Burkina Faso succeeds, other African nations will follow. And if African nations follow, the balance of global power shifts. No longer will Africa be a continent exploited for its resources and left dependent on external aid. It will be a force to be recognized. What do you think? Should other African countries learn from Ibrahim Traoré and use prisoners as a resource to increase food production? Isn't it true that prisoners can be used as skilled workers to boost national growth? In the comment section right below, share your thoughts on Ibrahim Traoré's farsightedness to train and
Yeah, so that's the second clip in relation to this young revolutionary leader, Ibrahim Traoré. And right about now, I'm going to take a break. Like I said, I'm going to open the lines. I want you to digest what you hear and do it with an open mind. And when I open the lines, tell me what you feel. I also want you to make a comparison in terms of our leaders as we know them today. Can they or should they take pattern from this young individual? For instance, here in the Caribbean, we are dependent on imports to feed us. Yet still, we boast about so many islands in the Caribbean having fertile soil and so on and so forth. Why is it that our leaders seem to be kicking the ball down the road, as opposed to making steps presently to make sure that even at this present time we can look forward and know that we will, as a Caribbean nation, be self-sufficient? When you look at, for instance, this morning we were discussing the threat to take away visas and not give visas to individuals who allow Cubans to come here and so forth and so forth. I see the phone lines ringing, but I'm not ready for your calls. I want to play at least 2 more clips and then I'll be open to a discussion. So as I was saying, when we listened to 1 or 2 leaders speaking about their sovereignty and they being in a position to do as they choose, as a caller this morning said, Africa to be more precise, I was thinking to myself, why is this individual speaking on his own? Why didn't we hear 5, 6, 10 different leaders speaking simultaneously and saying, we are a sovereign region and we reserve the right to do what is feasible to us? As opposed to having one leader here, one leader there, we are showing the world that we are fragmented as a Caribbean region. Our leaders need to get their acts together, get their heads together, and work in unison for better things. And that is one of the reasons why I am playing these clips, because here is a young leader who's not waiting for others to come and say, this is what you should do and that. And he is not, you may hear, well, okay, he's in the military, but he's a well-educated young man who went to university, and I think he studied, I don't want to say for sure, I would have to refresh my memory, but I think he studied something to do with minerals and that kind of stuff. But I'm going to refresh my memory on that, or if I can find the clip that deals with that, I'll do so. Right about now, I'm going to take a bit of a break, and when I come back, we're going to delve further into this young leader and see what he is doing. He's not just speaking, he is acting, because fortunately for him, his country has the mineral and other wealth. So to finance his endeavors is not a problem. And it shows us where France has been exploiting Burkina Faso. And here's a young leader who comes and says, look, well, you go out and I'm going to now invest in the advancement of my people. I'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 Win FM.
Let TDC Financial Services help you go for your goals. Whether you're thinking of taking that grand vacation, down payment on a house, higher education, TDC Financial Services has various plans that will allow you to go for your goals. Choose from the Accumulator Plus, Investment Starter Plan, and Fixed Deposit. Ready to go for your goals? Visit us at TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 300 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
And I'm back with you again, and we're going to delve into, this is going to be the penultimate clip. After this one, I'll play the final one, and then I'll open the lines and let us have a bit of a rapport. Now, this young man isn't just talking. A lot of our leaders in the Caribbean, they talk. They talk, they speak, but they don't walk the walk. Here is this young man, and in the prior clip we heard where he is making inroads into agriculture and using prisoners and rehabilitation to do so. Well, now we're going to see another bold step where in one day he employs 2,000 farmers to advance his agricultural ambitions. Okay? Listen to this.
Today, as we dive into some truly exciting news that's making waves not just in Burkina Faso, but across the entire African continent. This is one of those stories that fills you with hope and reminds us of the incredible potential we have when visionary leadership meets bold action. So, grab a seat, because this is something you don't want to miss. Before we get into the details, I want to take a moment to thank all of you, especially my amazing channel members, for your unwavering support. Your membership means the world to me, and it's what keeps this channel growing and thriving. If you're not yet a member, I encourage you to join our community. It's a fantastic way to support the channel and get access to exclusive perks. Now let's jump right into this inspiring story. Burkina Faso, a nation often celebrated for its resilience and determination, has just taken a monumental step towards securing its future. Under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré, the country has launched an unprecedented initiative that promises to transform its agricultural sector and, by extension, the lives of its people. The plan? To deploy 200,000 young people into mechanized agriculture. Yes, you heard that right. 200,000 young individuals will be given the tools, training, and opportunities to revolutionize farming in Burkina Faso. This announcement comes on the heels of a remarkable year for the country's agricultural sector, which saw bountiful harvests of wheat, rice, and tomatoes. It's clear that Burkina Faso is not just dreaming of a better future, it's actively building one. What makes this initiative so groundbreaking is its focus on mechanization. For too long, African agriculture has been held back by outdated methods and a lack of access to modern technology. But Burkina Faso is changing the game. By prioritizing mechanization, the country is addressing two critical challenges at once: boosting productivity and ensuring sustainability. Mechanized farming allows for faster, more efficient cultivation, which means more food can be produced in less time. It also reduces the physical burden on farmers, making agriculture a more attractive and viable career option for young people. This is a game changer, not just for Burkina Faso, but for the entire continent. The responsibility for this massive recruitment drive has been entrusted to Prime Minister Apollinaire Joachim Guillaume de Tambela, a clear sign of the government's commitment to seeing this initiative succeed. This isn't just about creating jobs, it's about empowering an entire generation. By involving young people in agriculture, Burkina Faso is tackling two of its most pressing issues: unemployment and food security. Young people are the backbone of any nation, and when they are given the tools to succeed, the entire country benefits. This initiative is a shining example of what can happen when leaders prioritize the well-being of their citizens and invest in their future. But let's take a step back and think about the bigger picture. What Burkina Faso is doing isn't just important for its own people, it's a blueprint for other African nations. The continent is home to some of the most fertile land in the world, yet many countries still struggle with food insecurity and rely heavily on imports. This doesn't have to be the case. By following Burkina Faso's example and investing in mechanized agriculture, other nations can unlock their agricultural potential and create a more self-sufficient future. The question is, which leaders are ready to take this step? Who among them is willing to prioritize the needs of their people and make the bold decisions required to drive real change? This brings me to Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the man behind this visionary initiative. His leadership serves as a powerful reminder of what's possible when leaders are truly committed to the well-being of their citizens. Traoré's focus on agriculture is particularly noteworthy because it addresses two of the most fundamental needs of any society: food and jobs. By investing in these areas, he's not just improving lives today, he's laying the foundation for a brighter tomorrow. His approach is a lesson for other African leaders, many of whom have yet to fully recognize the transformative power of agriculture. It's time for them to take note and follow suit. Now, I know some of you might be wondering why this matters to you, especially if you're not from Burkina Faso or even Africa. The truth is, this story is about more than just one country. It's about the power of innovation, leadership, and collective action. It's a reminder that no matter where we are in the world, we all have a role to play in building a better future. Whether it's supporting initiatives like this, advocating for sustainable practices, or simply spreading the word, every action counts. And that's why I'm so excited to share this news with you today. Before I go any further, I want to take a moment to thank my incredible channel members once again. Your support is what makes it possible for me to bring stories like this to light. If you're not yet a member, I'd love for you to consider joining. Not only will you be supporting the channel, but you'll also get access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes updates, and more. It's a great way to be part of this amazing community and help us continue to grow. Now let's talk about what this initiative means for the young people of Burkina Faso. For many of them, this is a life-changing opportunity. Agriculture has often been seen as a last resort, a sector for those who couldn't find work elsewhere. But that perception is changing. By modernizing the sector and making it more attractive to young people, Burkina Faso is showing that agriculture can be a source of pride, innovation, and prosperity. This is about more than just jobs. It's about creating a sense of purpose and belonging for an entire generation. And let's not forget the ripple effects of this initiative. When young people are employed and empowered, they contribute to their communities in countless ways. They start businesses, support their families, and drive economic growth. They become leaders and role models, inspiring others to follow in their footsteps. This is how real change happens, not through grand gestures, but through consistent, meaningful action that uplifts individuals and communities. Of course, none of this would be possible without the support of the Burkinabe people. Their resilience and determination are what make initiatives like this succeed. It's a reminder that while leadership is important, it's the people who truly drive progress. And that's something worth celebrating. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Burkina Faso's agricultural initiative is more than just a policy. It's a testament to the power of hope and determination. It's a reminder that no matter how daunting the challenges may seem, there's always a way forward. And it's a call to action for all of us to do our part. Whether it's by supporting initiatives like this, advocating for change, or simply spreading the word. Now let's delve even deeper into the implications of this initiative and why it's such a monumental step for Burkina Faso and Africa as a whole. Agriculture has always been the backbone of many African economies, yet it has often been undervalued and underfunded. Burkina Faso's decision to invest heavily in this sector, particularly through mechanization, is a game changer. It's not just about increasing food production, it's about redefining the role of agriculture in the 21st century. By integrating modern technology and making the sector more appealing to young people, Burkina Faso is setting a new standard for what agriculture can achieve. One of the most exciting aspects of this initiative is its potential to address youth unemployment. Across Africa, young people face significant challenges when it comes to finding meaningful employment. Many are forced to migrate to urban areas in search of work, often ending up in informal sectors with little job security or prospects for growth. By creating 200,000 new jobs in mechanized agriculture, Burkina Faso is offering a viable alternative. This isn't just about putting people to work. It's about creating careers that offer stability, growth, and a sense of purpose. For young people who have grown up in rural areas, this initiative provides an opportunity to stay connected to their roots while building a brighter future. Moreover, the focus on mechanization is a strategic move that addresses some of the key challenges facing African agriculture. Traditional farming methods, while valuable, are often labor-intensive and less efficient. By introducing modern machinery and techniques, Burkina Faso is not only increasing productivity, but also reducing the physical strain on farmers. This is particularly important in a country where agriculture is a primary source of livelihood for many families. Mechanization also opens up new possibilities for innovation, such as precision farming, which uses technology to optimize crop yields and reduce waste. These advancements have the potential to transform Burkina Faso's agricultural landscape and set a new benchmark for the continent. Another critical aspect of this initiative is its emphasis on sustainability. As the global climate crisis intensifies, it's more important than ever to adopt farming practices that are environmentally friendly and resilient. Mechanized agriculture, when done right, can be a powerful tool for sustainability. For example, modern machinery can help farmers use resources like water and fertilizer more efficiently, reducing waste and minimizing environmental impact. Additionally, mechanization can support the adoption of conservation agriculture practices, such as no-till farming, which helps preserve soil health and prevent erosion. By prioritizing sustainability, Burkina Faso is not just thinking about the present, it's building a foundation for long-term success. The success of this initiative also hinges on the government's ability to provide the necessary support and infrastructure. This includes everything from training programs to ensure that young people are equipped with the skills they need, to investments in rural infrastructure like roads and storage facilities. It's a comprehensive approach that recognizes the interconnected nature of agricultural development. By addressing these underlying challenges, Burkina Faso is creating an environment where mechanized agriculture can thrive. Of course, no initiative of this scale is without its challenges. Implementing such a massive program will require careful planning, coordination, and resources. There will be obstacles along the way, from logistical hurdles to the need for ongoing support and monitoring. But if there's one thing we've learned from Burkina Faso's history, it's that the country is no stranger to overcoming adversity. The resilience and determination of the Burkinabe people are what make initiatives like this possible. As we look to the future, it's clear that Burkina Faso's agricultural initiative has the potential to inspire change far beyond its borders. It's a...
Okay, the time 2 minutes after 11 o'clock. I'm going to take another commercial break, and when I get back, play for you the final clip, and after that, I'll open the lines and you tell me what you feel, and you can correlate it with what is happening in Burkina Faso, what is happening in Africa, the potential for Africa, and also the potential for the Caribbean. What do you feel our Caribbean leaders should be doing to enhance and develop our own growth in light of what we see happening presently, where the superpower wants to beat us into submission, want to threaten us, want to dictate almost our every move. I'll take a bit of a break and I'll be back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with Win FM.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsports Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsports Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsports Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
Tune in to Creative Voices, the ultimate radio call-in program where innovation meets inspiration. Join me, Dr. Sarah Owen, as I welcome brilliant Caribbean creatives and innovators for engaging sessions that promise to spark your creativity. Don't miss this unique opportunity to interact with our guests, ask your burning questions, and gain insights that could elevate your own creative endeavors. Tune in every other Friday from 10 a.m. to midday. Get inspired. Let your voice be heard. Mark your calendars and prepare to embark on a journey of creativity and innovation with Creative Voices.
And I'm back with you again, and I'm going to play for you the final clip in relation to this young, brilliant, innovative, bold leader on the motherland. And as a black individual, I tell you I am very proud. I don't waste time thinking about who he aligns with and all that kind of stuff, that negative stuff. I'm looking at what he's doing and the potential for the future. If individuals see you have potential, they will come to you. Here in the region, We often hear during campaign, we hear our leaders say, those in opposition usually say, well, you know, I've got people just lining up, investors lining up to come. And then when they get in power, we don't see the investment. We're here. If our leaders show that they are innovative, creative, then investors will find you. And that is what is happening in Burkina Faso. Chinese investors, other investors from around the globe are flocking to Burkina Faso and offering to make investments. You understand what I just said? Investors are finding young Ibrahim Touré and offering to invest. One of those is the Netherlands. Recently, Burkina Faso aligned or joined with the Netherlands to enhance agriculture in the form of fisheries. And so Ibrahim Touré and the Netherlands inaugurated 45 floating fish farms in Samandini, Burkina Faso. I'm going to play for you this clip so you can see this young man. Like I said, this young man isn't just talking the talk, he is walking the walk. We in the Caribbean are not in a position to do a lot of what he is able to do because we don't have the finances and so forth, but we have the creative minds. And if we put our creative minds together, we can make inroads into developing. But fortunately for Burkina Faso, they have mineral wealth. They have so much that so in finding the money is not a problem for them. The problem is to make the appropriate investment for the advancement of their country. So I'm going to play for you this final clip that deals with another bold step in conjunction and alliance with the Netherlands that Ibrahim Touré, this young, brilliant, bold leader, is making.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Intervlog. I said, this is Intervlog, where we bring you the groundbreaking transformations happening across Africa. Today, we are diving deep into the waters of progress, sustainability, and food security in Burkina Faso, where President Captain Ibrahim Traoré is once again proving that Africa has the power to feed itself and revolutionize its economy. Burkina Faso has taken a giant leap forward in fish production with the Fisheries for Employment and Food Security PESA project, an initiative that is set to reshape the fishing industry in the country. Imagine a future where Burkinabe fishermen no longer rely on traditional, uncertain fishing methods, but instead harness the power of modern technology to cultivate fish in floating cages. That future is here, and it is happening right now in the Samandani watershed. On February 24th, 2025, the Acting Minister of State, Minister of Agriculture, Animal and Fisheries, Mr. Haruna Silla, led the grand ceremony of handing over floating cages to the resilient and hard-working fishermen of Samandani. Alongside him were the esteemed Director General of Fisheries Resources, Mr. Alassane Mustafa Tassambedo, and the Regional Director of Agriculture, Animal and Fisheries Resources of the Hauts Bassin region, Mr. Eric Pascal Adanabu. Their presence emphasized the importance of this monumental project and the government's commitment to empowering local communities. The figures are breathtaking. A total of 45 floating cages, 60 tons of fish food, and a staggering 100,000 fryers have been provided to the fishermen. What does this mean? A projected fish production of 300 tons per year. Yes, you heard that right. 300 tons of fresh, locally produced fish to nourish the people of Burkina Faso and strengthen the national economy. This is nothing short of revolutionary. Let us take a moment to appreciate the brilliance of this initiative. Instead of overfishing natural water bodies, which depletes resources and threatens aquatic ecosystems, floating cage fish farming ensures a controlled, sustainable, and highly productive method of fish cultivation. This is not just about business. This is about food security, employment, and economic resilience. The representatives of the local communities are in awe of this life-changing initiative. Mr. Bassian Rokar Basan, speaking on behalf of the special delegation of Bama, expressed his heartfelt gratitude to the Ministry of Animal and Fisheries Resources and the PISA project team. He hailed the vision of integrating fishermen into modern fish farming techniques and called on beneficiaries to maximize the potential of these newly acquired infrastructures. But wait, there's more. The PESA project, under the leadership of Mr. Lassina Sano, is not stopping here. This initiative is a key part of the Agro-Pastoral and Fisheries Offensive 2023 to 2025, a master plan designed to elevate Burkina Faso's agricultural and fisheries sectors to unprecedented heights. In the coming months, the project will focus on consolidating these remarkable achievements by providing additional support to beneficiaries, linking them with funding institutions, and expanding fish farming to new communities. Picture this: more floating cages, more ponds, more fish fry, and more food security for all. And it doesn't stop there. The project will introduce fish hatcheries to empower even more Burkinabe entrepreneurs, coupled with intensive training on fish farming and agribusiness. This is how Burkina Faso is shaping a self-sufficient, economically robust, and food-secure future. And let's talk about peace. Yes, peace. One of the most beautiful aspects of this project is its role in fostering peaceful coexistence between fishermen and fish keepers. In a world where resource competition often leads to conflict, the PESA project is demonstrating how smart policies and sustainable solutions can bring people together. Intervlog salutes the Kingdom of the Netherlands for funding this remarkable initiative with an investment of 11 billion CFA francs. We also extend our appreciation to the Corded organization for implementing this game-changing project, which is creating waves of positive impact across the North Central, East, North, and Upper Basin regions, as well as Plateau Central and Central regions. This is what true partnership and development look like. Ladies and gentlemen, Burkina Faso is proving to the world that African nations do not need to depend on foreign food imports. With visionary leadership, strategic planning, and unwavering determination, President Captain Ibrahim Traoré is leading a food and economic revolution. From the potato harvest to the wheat farms, from the rice fields to the fisheries, every sector is booming. Burkina Faso is on the move, and the world is watching in admiration. So, to all Burkinabe entrepreneurs, farmers, and visionaries, this is your time. The foundation has been laid, the resources have been provided, and the future is bright. Take this opportunity and turn it into prosperity for yourselves, your families, and your nation. Intervlog is here to document history in the making. Stay tuned, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because the best is yet to come. This is Africa Rising. This is Burkina Faso leading. And this is the revolution of food security and economic independence. Long live President Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Long live Burkina Faso. Long live Africa. Stay with us for more updates, and as always, wow, Africa to the world. Fish farming in floating cages. PESA Project Samandani Fishermen Team. The Acting Minister of State, Minister of Agriculture, Animal and Fisheries, Mr. Haruna Sila, presided over the official ceremony of handing over of floating cages to fishermen from the Samandani watershed on Monday, February 24th, 2025, in Bama Municipality, Hautes-Bassins region. The event took place in the presence of the Director General of Fisheries Resources, Mr. Alassane Mustafa Tassambedo, and the Regional Director of Agriculture, Animal and Fisheries Resources of the Hautes-Bassins region, Mr. Eric Pascal Adanabu. The Fisheries for Employment and Food Security PESA project has thus undertaken to equip fishermen in the Samandeni waterfront with floating cages for fish production. In total, 45 floating cages, 60 tons of fish food, and 100,000 fryers were made available. Expected fish production due to this infrastructure is estimated to be around 300 tons per year. The representative of the president of the Special Delegation of BAMA, Mr. Bassian Rakar Bassain, expressed his gratitude to the authorities of the Ministry of Animal and Fisheries Resources and the PISA project for this initiative benefiting local populations. He praised the commitment of the project's actors to involve fishermen in floating cage fish farming, which he considers to be a promising vision. He also urged beneficiaries to make optimal use of the infrastructures made available to them. Mr. Lassina Sanu, head of the PISA project, emphasized that this initiative, which is part of the Agro-Pastoral and Fisheries Offensive 2023 to 2025, aims to support local people and promote fish entrepreneurship. It also aims to ensure a peaceful and secure environment between the different actors operating the water level. After presenting the various achievements of the project, Mr. Sanu announced that the efforts for the current year will be focused on consolidating the acquisition, including through support inputs and equipment to beneficiaries and linking them with funding institutions. Among other things, the project intends to extend its support to new beneficiaries by providing them with floating cages, ponds, fish fry, and food. In addition, PISA plans to set up hatches for the benefit of engaged promoters and trainings on various topics related to fish production and agricultural entrepreneurship. For Mr. Silla, mission officer, this endowment represents a valuable opportunity that will not only strengthen fish production, but also combat overfishing and encourage peaceful coexistence between fishermen and fish keepers. He hailed the commitment of the Kingdom of Netherlands, which accompanies the PESA project. Beneficiaries have expressed their appreciation for the initiative. They highlighted the positive impact of these infrastructures on their business and living conditions. Thanks to these floating cages, we now have the opportunity to increase our production and improve our income. This is a real opportunity for us and our families, Mamadou Traoré testified. Funded by the Kingdom of the Netherlands in the amount of around 11 billion CFA francs and implemented by the Cordade organization, the PISA project is taking place in the North Central, East, North, and Upper Basin regions. It also supports initiatives in the Plateau Central and Central regions, including the establishment and operation of hatches and the strengthening of training centers. Speech of Burkina Faso President Captain Ibrahim Traoré on the fish farming in floating cages. Distinguished guests, esteemed ministers, hard-working fishermen of Samandeni, and dear citizens of Burkina Faso, it is with great pride and immense joy that I stand before you today to celebrate a monumental step in our journey towards food security, economic empowerment, and the revitalization of our fisheries sector. Today, we witness the fruits of collaboration, the power of vision, and the unyielding determination of our people as we officially hand over floating cages to the fishermen of Samandeni through the Fisheries for Employment and Food Security PISA project. For too long, Burkina Faso has relied on fish imports to meet the nutritional needs of our people. But today, that narrative changes. With the introduction of floating cage fish farming, we are not only increasing our domestic fish production, but we are also creating jobs, strengthening our local economy, and ensuring that every Burkinabé can have access to fresh, locally produced fish. Mes chers compatriotes, si tu donnes un poisson à un homme, il mangera un jour. Mais si tu lui apprends à pêcher, il mangera toute sa vie. With this project, we are not just giving fish, we are giving the tools, the knowledge, and the means to sustain fish production for generations to come. The PEZA project, funded by the Kingdom of the Netherlands, has allocated an impressive 11 billion CFA francs to revolutionize our fishery sector. This initiative has provided 45 floating cages, 60 tons of fish food, and 100,000 fryers to the fishermen of Samandeni. This investment will yield an estimated 300 tons of fish per year, a remarkable contribution to food security and economic stability. The fishermen of Samandeni now have the opportunity to increase their income and improve their living conditions. As Mamadou Traoré testified, thanks to these floating cages, we now have the opportunity to increase our production and improve our income. This is not just a project. It is a lifeline, a beacon of hope, and a testament to our government's commitment to uplifting the lives of our citizens. One of the greatest threats to our fisheries is overfishing, which depletes resources and endangers aquatic life. But with floating cages, we are ensuring a controlled and sustainable fish farming system. Mes chers compatriotes, si tu coupes toute la forêt pour du bois aujourd'hui, demain tu n'auras plus d'ombre pour te protéger du soleil. We must think of the future while we work for today. Sustainable fishing is not just an option, it is a necessity. The PEZA project is not only about increasing fish production, it is about creating entrepreneurs. By linking beneficiaries with financial institutions, providing training, and expanding support to new beneficiaries, we are nurturing a new generation of fish farmers and agricultural entrepreneurs. This initiative aligns with our Agro-Pastoral and Fisheries Offensive 2023 to 2025, ensuring that our youth and women find opportunities in this growing sector. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Kingdom of the Netherlands and the Cordaid organization for their unwavering support in implementing this transformative project. True development is not achieved in isolation. It is through partnerships, shared vision, and mutual commitment that we bring about lasting change. To the fishermen who are receiving these floating cages, I urge you to make optimal use of them. This is not just an individual opportunity, but a collective responsibility. When one fisherman thrives, the entire community thrives. Let us stand together, work together, and build a prosperous Burkina Faso together. Mes chers compatriotes, un seul doigt ne peut pas ramasser la farine.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Now, who speaks about these positive things? Often we hear only negative things about Africa, about black people on a whole, how we are lazy, unambitious, dependent on aid. But here is a young man who is making a difference. And since he has been the leader of his country, there have been over 30-something assassination attempts financed by foreign entities trying to get rid of this young man. Fortunately, Cuba recently sent some soldiers down there to help buttress his security. Russia also sent some soldiers down there to buttress his security. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping and praying that he survives, because the world needs leaders like this. Hello? Good day.
Keeping my fingers crossed and
Good day. Good day.
Good day.
Let me lower my volume. Let me lower my volume. Let me lower. Hold a second. Good day, my brother.
Good day.
Interesting topic. Let me give you my name. My name is Winston Welcome.
Yes.
And I've been embracing this man since I started listening about him. I've done research on him. Rahim Ibrahim
Yes.
of Burkina Faso.
Go ahead. Unfortunately, we lost you. That was beyond my control. Don't know what really happened. Let me see if I can entertain this. Hello?
Yes, we got cut off just now.
Okay.
I was the one who was just speaking.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, like I said, I've been following this man when I started hearing about that country in Africa. Burkina Faso,
Yeah.
Traim Abraham, young, 35-year-old revolutionist. And he is one who inspired me to take initial initiative in my country of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Mm.
I'm inspired by him. So I will say, Traim, you have a person who will walk in your shoe and try to be safe. Now, these are examples. By the way, I am a candidate for the upcoming election in St. Kitts, in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay.
And some of his, I will say all of his inspiration that I've seen, I myself, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and not just St. Kitts and Nevis, the Caribbean, because we have to become self-sustainable.
Yes.
And you know something? The Caribbean is rich. I mean, a lot of people like me, yes, we came to the United States and elsewhere searching for a betterment, but we left the golden opportunity home. But reason for that, we are not brought up in a way for us to have that determination.
Yeah.
So some of us are here. But my quest is to bring home my experience that I sustain and attribute to the people of St. Kitts, because we are looking beyond and we're not looking right in front of our sight.
Yes.
And these are the attributes that I have to contribute to my country. I mean, you hear everyone talking about self-sustainable. Is it happening? You hear talking about sustainable island state. Is it happening? Promises are comfort for fools. This man is serious, and I am a serious man like him. Very serious. And I'm not hostile. I am empathetic and sympathetic. And I have compassion. I'm interested in develop my country, use what we got. Use what we have and take use of. The first man I heard out of that is take what you can take and make use of it. We have our soil. Okay? I look at a clip of Jamaica, and that goes to the rest of the Caribbean islands. We are leaving our country and we're leaving gold home. We live in the mangoes. We should nurture the mangoes. We should nurture what we have.
Yes.
We met them there and we have to just improve upon them. But we are political, and the political whiplash, vendetta has to be stopped.
Caller.
I need someone to conduct and push that culture to get already political the political
rhetoric,
right.
Yes.
Thank you. I stand for correction, and you could join my sentence if you fall short.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm going to say to you, my brother, you did the best thing to hear an example like this to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean.
Yes.
Because this is self-sustainable. Now, with the revolution that Trump has injected against countries, what if, and I know we're going to feel the heat of it, okay? What if it really were to hit us hard? Then imports, especially food, going to be hard on the people. So where are we going to get food from?
Yeah.
We have the soil.
The caller, you made a point in terms. You said we have mangoes. We have so much. Every year when we have mangoes and soursop and other fruits, we have a surplus, and a lot of it goes to waste. We have been hearing leaders talk about, enhancing our ability to feed ourselves. And individuals have been saying from since I can remember, have been saying, let us find ways to some of this food to preserve it so that when it is out of season, we still have it to use. And we don't see anybody really. I mean, the bigger islands are doing it. We see mangoes and even tamarind and so forth. We see those drinks. But we here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, what the Guyanese came here and showed us how to do certain things like with the plantain, make plantain chips and so on and so forth. So yes, you're right.
And so, let me just tell you, stick up in there, because you are so much in my head, okay? I know this program will not be long enough for me to utter, but I am trying to configure it into a brief. Point well taken. Okay, let me just follow your trail. Like I said, I only mentioned mango as an example, but you know what we have. I know what we have. Listen, other islands, they find a source, a channel to export their surplus. Okay? Why can't our government encourage our farmers? And I'm going to the farming sector now, and I will go to the fishing sector, because every Caribbean island have fish. They're rich in fish. It's just a matter, make yourself a fisher of man or man of fishes, like what Rahim does. Now let's deal with stuff we have that we could export, because to tell you the truth, you see, we out here in the diaspora, we are in a concrete jungle. We can't go those things. We have to go buy them in whatever shape or form they're in. And we lavish them. You all have the good stuff down there, fresh from the tree. Okay? So, I'm saying, these are the innovations we should embrace, to be self-sustained, self-sustained, and the local people, the farmers, to whom it's concerned, let us find a way for them to export some.
Yeah.
Let us have a storage for them. Their produce can be in a good, presentable condition. These are the investments that we have to do.
There's another caller on the line. I don't want you to hang up. I want to see if we
Yes.
can. Yes.
I yield to that. I
Hello.
yield to that.
Hello to the other caller.
Yes, quintessential one.
Yes.
Good day.
Yes. Good day.
Again. Yeah, greetings in Jesus' name, the only Savior of sinners from their sins and from hell. Now, first of all, in the first video that you played, clip that you played, there's something that was said that I think is going to be missed by everyone. One of the things that Toure is doing, as the first clip said, is that he is privatizing things
Yes.
that the government own. I think everybody is going to miss that one. You see? And that is what I have always been championing. Because it is the biblical way to go. Privatizing a lot of stuff
Yes.
that the government owns. Now, other than that, let me say this. Agriculture is not our savior. Our only savior is Jesus Christ. And I said that to say this. If we think that agriculture is our savior, we read in the Bible where Jesus Christ let us know, because he is God, and he let us know that if you disobey my word, even your agriculture, I'm going to make it to failure. I'm going to dry up the earth. I'm going to dry up the clouds. I'm going to bring diseases on your plants and animals and all that sort of stuff because you rejected me. You're disobeying my word. So agriculture is good, yes. Agriculture is necessary, yes. But if that become your God and your idol and your savior, then Jesus Christ, who is God Almighty, is going to make it failure because you have your eyes on the wrong direction, on the wrong source, on agriculture instead of on Jesus Christ. So Toure and whoever else, if their eyes are on their strength and their initiative and their wisdom and their agriculture and that sort of stuff, and not on Jesus Christ, he's going to make all that they have to fail them. And this has been the history of the world. Jesus Christ let things do good for a certain time, and then when everything reaches limit, he just pull the rug from under you, and all that you're depending on, he make them to fail, including your agriculture.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would like to give us this message. Only Jesus Christ is our Savior. He's our food provider and everything, nothing else.
Can I interject here?
Yeah, go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Other caller, I am with you with that commentary. But we are, it is God first. It is Jesus first. There is no question about it. It is unmatched. But if we embrace the knowledge that Jesus Christ or God gave to us, the inspiration in a dream, some sign, some prophecy, okay? Remember the Bible said to you, by the sweat of your brow, man shall eat bread. And how are you going to eat bread?
And it also says he helped those who help themselves.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And he said, till the soil with the goodness of God. Because when you crop, if you plant whatever you plant now, what you so desire, and they come fruitful, what you going to say? Thank God. And it will be ungrateful for you not to thank God for the goodness that he has visionized, idealized, prophesied to you. Remember, to each is his own, and every mule to their own plow. It's what you choose, where you came from, where you're going, and where you're going to keep and maintain your direction in life. So I agree with you, my brother. I'm not knocking you down, but my bread alone. So I'm going to address that and add to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But let me
I yield to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Greg.
I'm listening.
Go ahead, Greg.
No, let the caller go. Let the caller go.
What I said, he said, man shall not live by bread alone. But you need to end the rest of it where he says, but we shall live by every word of God that comes out the mouth of God. No.
Remember, the program is short,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You could read me. You could end my sentence because the moderator, he's in my head. And we didn't have no discussion. And I agree. I had to tell him, stick up in. So if I tell you, stick up in, or if you stick up in, you could continue me, I could continue, because we start the chapter and we know where it's going to end. We could determine what the end game going to be. So I agree with you. And a man like you, go ahead.
Let me say this, though. Let me say this. People just use this saying, God help those who help themselves, as a way of doing our own thing, as a way of justifying our sinful ways, But the thing is, the Bible tells us that unless we obey the commandments of God, he will reject us and he will make the things that he was blessing us with to fail, including our agriculture. So in other words, if we are going to help ourselves, we need to help ourselves in obedience to the word of God, not just doing what we feel like and say, God help those who help themselves. Because if we, as the Bible says, disobey the commands of God, he will punish us and he will destroy us and bring us to ruin.
Greg, listen to me. I hear you. You have a right to your expression. But I don't want us to get into this. Look, the other caller has says, and I concur, we give praises and thanks to the Almighty. I don't want this to be just about back and forth and trying to push the point where if we don't do what God says. You say God, I say the Almighty, I say the creator of all things. I think we mean basically the same thing. You may disagree because you say Jesus Christ. I am saying we do not want to get bogged down on this. This is what has been holding us back for hundreds of years. We get bogged down in this Jesus Christ back and forth and never move on the pertinent things that will help us to develop. Right now, we're speaking about a young, dynamic young man, a dynamic young man who's making certain strides, and we are trying to correlate what he is doing with what we should be doing here in the Caribbean. I am not going to say that I go against what you're saying. I am saying we have it as a given. Yes, we accept the creator of all things and so on and so forth, but we as a human species have to do certain things for ourselves.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Quintessential one, you made an error when you said that this is what has been keeping us down. No, every time we move closer to the Bible is what has been prospering us and liberating us. And every time we move away from the Bible, that is what has been keeping us down and destroying us.
And I am saying this debate about what is keeping us back and what is continuously repeating the same thing over and over is part of what is impeding our progress. We agree.
Not necessarily.
We agree. You say Jesus Christ. You say God. I don't know what the other caller might say. He might say Jehovah or whatever. I say the creator of all things. I am saying I do not want this to be just about religion and religious belief. I want us as a people to start thinking about where we are and where the projections for tomorrow from our perspective, knowing that the creator of all things we believe in and the creator will help us once we make the endeavor.
And I agree to that.
Yes. You see, Greg, you keep wanting to go back to the same thing. We agree that what you say is right, but we're not going to stay on it.
Greg, no one is saying you're wrong. Let's move on.
But that's the only help.
And we're saying
that is the only help.
And we
Everything
agree.
else will fail us.
And we agree. So let's not just continue with that. That's what I'm saying.
But to go
can
in
I make my
other
point?
direction
Can I make
is
my
to
point?
forsake your
Because
help.
there are other callers who need to inject their contribution.
Right now, I don't
We are
see any other
focusing-
call.
We are focusing on an example. We are focusing on an example, and we all learn by example. Okay? Abraham is an example that every nation should take a page from. And wherever we could take a page from that is good, let us move forward and see how we could manage that.
That is
Okay?
my point.
That is the point. Okay? God is first. Allah is first. Jesus is first. However we're going to classify it. The thing is, here is an example we could take. Because where did Abraham came from and where he is now? He came from humble beginnings.
Yes.
Humble beginnings, and we have to respect humble beginnings. And a lot of us don't. Example, a lot of us came to America from whatever country, and we put a stone behind our back, or we burn our bridges. But it's not all of us who will do it. I personally, my brother, I have interest in my country. And my country is what I could claim, St. Kitts and Nevis. I can't claim America. America is not mine. Because when America said go, you got to go. And there is a saying, if you don't have no home, you got to go home. And if you have a home, go home. So, my brother, and to all listeners in Radio Land, I am so glad you came with this topic because that's the man I fancy. That's the man examples I will take. I have mine too, because I'm an inventor. I have an apparatus that could sustain the electrical difficulty that we have in St. Kitts. Self-sustain. I'm a kitchen. I'm an inventor.
Yes.
And I am a man who could configure to make you self-subsistence without dealing with the grid or those vampires who sucking us and putting us to a hard time. But we got to done with the dependency. We got to limit the dependency that we are
You see,
depending on foreigners.
caller,
Yes.
one of the things that really baffles me, if we were to come here and start to speak about gossip and this leader, Terrence Jew, against Timothy Harris, and our phone lines will go crazy.
That's a waste of time, you know.
But when,
that is a
but,
waste of time.
but here when we speak about things that the potential for advancement, and we show a young man, because usually a lot of older folks, I am an older folk, we tend to say, oh, the young people are lazy, they are unambitious. We say in our federation, the young women are ambitious and the young men are lazy. Look how the young women are. And here's a young man who's showing that he has potential. He is creative. He is bold. But the phone lines aren't going to go crazy, because this is not a topic that people, and this is the problem. You understand? Greg will interact, and we appreciate Greg's perspective. But I am saying, after you make your point, move on. Don't dwell on it and keep saying, going back, because we don't further the conversation. So what, we're going to spend the next 15 minutes just saying Jesus Christ is the first, and if you don't, we know that. We have another caller. Let me see. Hello?
To be a Christian nation.
Good morning.
Caller, we have another caller. Let's engage him.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Mark
I
Mahan.
yield to that.
Go.
Yeah. With regards your
topic.
Clips.
Yeah.
Well, first one point. If he's very successful, we have to watch it, because you know what happens to very successful leaders.
There have been
in Africa.
There have been 30-something attempts on his life so far.
That many?
Yes. And
Absolutely.
And
that can't be a coincidence.
No, it's not a coincidence.
If
If you were listening, I said that because of the attempts on his life, Cuba has sent soldiers to buttress his security, and Putin has sent soldiers to buttress his security also. Now, there might be those who say, there might be those...
By doing that, though, isn't he inviting the enemies?
Well, you have to do what you have to do. You have to do what you have to do. So what is he supposed to do? Don't take any assistance from anyone, and they come and they just kill him?
Why? No, we're talking about for his security.
Yes.
Why he can't rely on the people of his country? If he's doing so well.
He is the people of his country. Yes, they have him.
So why depend on Russia and Cuba for security?
Okay, let me give you my perspective. This is my perspective. It is Europe and America. They have been oppressing us for so long. People have all kind of negatives to say about China and Russia and Cuba and so forth. My perspective is, if you want to give assistance to buttress his security, you see America running to help his security. You see other parts you see Britain trying to help his security. No. Now we know that Russia and whoever, Cuba has been isolated in our region. We know that they see potential down the line. We are not foolish. Torre is not foolish. He knows.
You know what you're up against?
I see your point, and I understand, and that's why I made the point initially.
Yes.
That if you have a successful African leader, he just seems a target. Okay.
Yes.
And so I understand that.
Great.
But my point is, right? He is the leader of his country. If he's doing things the right way, as was said, sure, he may have enemies there, but he have more friends than enemies.
Yes.
Okay? And so I'm saying, before you rely on external forces, don't internationalize this thing. Deal with your country's problems, and he'll get rewarded by his people.
It's easy for you to. It is easy for you to say that. I can agree. Well, okay. Let's look at St. Kitts. Let's say our present leader was doing what Torre is doing, and you say, well, he's doing for the people, and the people will. Our population is how much, right? How versed are they in espionage and security and that kind of stuff? How versed are they? You think that if Joe was doing these kind of things, his people, St. Kitts and Nevis, could protect him even though they're 100% behind him? No.
No.
So we have to look. No.
Well, I mean, I find that far-fetched. But
how do you mean? Come on.
I'll tell you something, though.
Come
right?
on, McMahon, wait. You are an intelligent person. To say it is far-fetched, I expected better than that from you. You are not a fool.
Right? So you're saying that in our little country here,
yes,
right? Because that's the example you're using.
Yes.
Right? If the government were doing things the right way and were obviously more concerned with the people and that the U.S. or Europe would say, we got to get rid of him. You really feel so?
Greg, well, if you have 30-something attempts on we're using a hypothetical here. If you had 30-something attempts on Jew, if he was doing that, well, what does that say, Mr. McMahon?
It would say that he has a lot of enemies in the country.
No. They have caught some of these. Look, McMahon, they have caught. They have caught. They have caught some of these.
They would have had to infiltrated that country and deal with the opposition to him to have that many attempts on his life, right?
Okay, great. Yeah, but the external forces, they have money, they have power. Our people in our country are corruptible. So how do we?
Well, no, but you see that's the whole point. You know, it goes back to the governance issue. If you have one man, if the salvation of a country is dependent on one man, that's a problem.
For now,
the job of a leader is to galvanize the country with a vision that the majority of the country buy into.
But
even if that one man disappears, the vision remains, and somebody carries on.
But isn't that what he's doing? That is what right now he's speaking of stepping down. You need to research his story. You seem to be speaking and you're not au fait with his story.
I admit I'm not au fait with his story.
Okay.
I agree, right? But what I guess raise alarm bells for me, right, is internationalizing the whole thing, right? Because the mere fact that Cuba and Russia, and I mean, I don't have rose-colored glasses. I know how the international situation, the geopolitics is. Those two countries invite scrutiny from the West. It's a matter of fact.
So we don't care. So we have to reach that point where we say we don't give a damn.
Well, I tell you something. What's going to be a big test to bring it back home? What is going to be a big test is this thing by Rubio.
Yes.
That we got to cut links with Cuba and China.
I agree with you.
Because that's going to tell whether we can say like you and don't give a damn, or whether we have to tiptoe into this problem.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you.
Right,
Greg.
This isn't Greg. This isn't Greg. This is Mr. McMahon.
Mr. McMahon. Let me just say what I'm thinking to both.
McMahon. There's another caller. He wants to interact with you.
Okay.
Listen. No matter how good you think you are, no matter how at best you think you are, in the eyes of some people, you're not doing good enough. You're going to always have opposition. You're going to always have opponents because everyone will not align. Would you say the devil is always in the advocate?
Details.
Yes, absolutely.
But that's what I said. But
we
that's
are
what
speaking
I
about
said.
our country. An example we see, and we can learn by that. We are from the meaning of what this issue is, what this discussion is all about. We're going too far, and we learn by example. I learn by example. I have a lot of examples that I copied here. I'm not a spy, but I learned. Okay, and for me, I like to teach what I've learned because I'm not going to take my knowledge. That is the richest place of knowledge, the grave. Some of us keep it, and we, like again, we see an example. I've been running that. I've been following that for a long time. And see you, Mr. McMahon, but you did a wonderful thing for us today to bring that right out on the radar. Okay? I commend you for that. But remember, even though your enemy is after you, if you are doing good in the eyes of God, they can't touch you.
Because as we have said, the Creator governs all things.
Yes, absolutely.
But we also have to look at the history. And I was looking at the history. That's why I mentioned at the beginning that whenever there's a very successful African leader, he always seemed to end up in,
corruption.
Dead.
Right?
Dead.
Okay.
To put it bluntly.
Yes, I agree.
And that's more than a coincidence. And that's why I also said, right, that it should not be about one man. Sure, the guy is probably a good leader. He has a good vision and so on. But his leadership should be concentrated on making sure that as many people, and I agree with the other person on the line, that everybody is not going to be with you, going to see your vision, but he should galvanize the rest of the country around his vision. If it works, okay.
And
my
that,
brother, the country
so that
Burkina Faso is galvanizing. Burkina Faso is galvanizing that man because what he interjects, what his innovation is, where he copied his page from, he is okay. But we can't stop the enemy from coming. But guess what?
McMahon.
Yes.
Caller, hold a while. McMahon, there's a clip I played where in one day he employed, I think, over 8,000 individuals into the farming. There's another clip I played where the prisoners, he incorporated this rehabilitation thing where all the prisoners, he put them into farming, and they are going to be rehabilitated. They're going to be given jobs and so on and so forth. And when they finish with their training and so forth, they go back into society, skilled individuals. So yes, he is making sure he broaden it as you. But that's what I'm saying. You have to find out some of the things about him. That's why I played those clips before I opened the line.
Another question I have, though,
another innovation that man has done.
I'm not sure of the source of the clip.
Let me tell you another thing he has done.
Okay, but I will tell you
that
we are accustomed to clips from whatever source talking up things. And on the ground is a different matter, okay? So we have to be very careful with that.
So, Mr. McMahon, having said that, do you think that I am so daft that I'm going to get here and play clips that are not authentic, that I don't have the source for?
Okay, and is the source, and so do you regard your source as absolutely credible? Is it unbiased and because you see, you can have a source paid for by anybody who has an agenda, okay? And I'm not questioning this particular one, but I'm just saying that we have this habit of just thinking that propaganda gets you everywhere, okay? And I'm saying that we should be very wary of things like these because you can have all kinds of people with all kinds of agenda, right? In the final analysis, time will tell if this in fact works. And you can bet your life that if it works, it will be copied because, success breeds success.
Yes.
Right? And so we're hopeful that it works. But generally speaking, I've been seeing of late a lot of clips from a lot of reports that seems like Africa is undergoing a new awakening.
Yes.
That the leaders are finally getting it, right? That they understand that this corruption thing does not help their countries.
Yes.
And they're also, what I would like for them to do too, is understand that democracy, as in terms of making sure that the people are behind them in terms of elections and so on, that is ingrained in the systems as well.
And I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
Right? And so, is he talking about elections at all?
Well, he's thinking about, he has been speaking about stepping down and allowing the masses to make a choice.
A civilian.
Yes.
And the masses.
Yes.
The masses.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
masses.
That's a big deal because you don't normally have people in power stepping down, giving way to a civilian, especially military people.
Yes.
Giving way to a civilian administration. That is good.
Yes.
That's a really good sign. Yeah.
Let me do my
okay, we're gonna be we're reached the news time, so wrap up. We're gonna wrap up. Make your final say.
With the callers.
No.
Let me give my closing statement. Let me give my closing statement with Greg and Mr. McMahon, moderator. No, I am going to say to the people, say to the
be
people.
Brief. Be brief, okay?
Yes,
be brief.
Yes.
Yes.
Aren't you tired of the recycled politician? Aren't you tired of promises that not fulfilled? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go from there? Have you forgot or you remember? Last but not least, we must go to our heart and make choices. Do not be bought. Do not be sold. Thank you for that time, my brother. Bye for
now. And to answer you directly, if there's one person who's tired of recycled partition, it's me. And as Quint knows,
I can attest to that.
I recommend that it's done with them.
Yes.
Right? You just change. You just stop the recycling and change. I mean, there gotta be young people. There gotta be people with a vision that is different from the same old.
Yes.
That can change things.
Yes.
That's what we want. A shake up, a change in things.
Yeah.
Right? Every time it's the same old. We're gonna get the same old results as well if you don't shake things up.
Yes.
Yeah. All right then.
Okay. Take care. Yeah. So that's it for today. I just thought I'd let you. Now you need to do your own research. Go and look up and find and make sure that you get the authentic, as Mr. McMahon says, authentic news clips and not some bogus thing. But Burkina Faso is not the only. I think there are not many, because the vast majority of a lot of the African nations are still following the status quo. But there are few who are coming to the realization that repeating the same thing over and over gets you nowhere. I'll say goodbye for now, and up next is the WinFM News, Midday News.
You found the sound, 98.9 Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by The Grange and Carib Brewery.
Did
you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully